रात को सपने तो जरूर आए होंगे, ये सपने क्या कहते हैं?
और बस थोड़ी ही देर में देखेंगे कि आज आपकी किस्मत के सितारे करते हैं क्या इशारे।
नई आशाएं और हौसले भरी सुबह की सुहानी शुरुआत करें हमारे साथ। मैं आपकी हमसफर मोहिनी
और मैं दीप्ति। सोमवार से शुक्रवार सुबह 6 से 9 तक
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन पर।
In this bulletin, Fiji compliant with 12 of 98 human rights recommendations. Public Accounts Committee defers first sitting to next week. And Reserve Bank releases new $2 coin to replace the current one. Good evening. Welcome to FBC News. I'm Amrita Priyadarshini. Fiji has accepted 98 out of 137 recommendations made by states at the Universal Periodic Review at the UN Human Rights Council. Attorney General Ayaz Sayed Qayyum and head of Fiji's delegation to the second Universal Periodic Review in Geneva says Fiji is already compliant with 12 of the 98 recommendations. Maggie Boyle reports.
Head of Fiji's high-level delegation to Geneva to attend the Human Rights Council, Ayaz Sayed Qayyum, says Fiji is pleased to accept 98 of the 137 recommendations. However, for the remaining 39 recommendations, Sayed Qayyum says it is necessary to either consult with the relevant independent institutions or to refer them to relevant government agencies for input. On the need for further consultations, the Attorney General clarifies that the Fijian constitution entrenches the separation of powers and strengthens and affirms the independence of institutions such as the judiciary, the Human Rights and Anti-Discrimination Commission, and the police force. In his concluding statement in Geneva, Sayed Qayyum calls on the Human Rights Council to pay urgent attention to emerging human rights issues. These are transborder impacts on human rights because of climate change, asylum policies, and consequences of free trade agreements on socio-economic rights. The Fiji delegation included the Chief Justice Anthony Gates, Solicitor General Christopher Pride, Media Industry Development Authority Chairman Ashwin Raj, as well as Fiji's Ambassador to Geneva, Nazat Shamim Khan. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
The Parliamentary Public Accounts Committee has postponed its sitting to mid-next week. Public Accounts Committee Chairman and Opposition MP Professor Biman Prasad says he is giving members of the committee more time to evaluate 6 years' worth of Auditor General reports currently before them. He says next week's discussions will focus on the agenda and a proposed timeline in which the committee will need to produce a report for Parliament on their assessment of the AG's reports. Other members of the Public Accounts Committee are Opposition MP Aseri Randronro, Government Whip Semi Koroila Vesau, as well Government MPs Balminder Singh and Sanjeet Patel. Members of Parliament that comprise the Business and Standing Order Committees have been finalised. Speaker of the House of the Representatives Dr. Chico Luveni is the chair of both committees and has endorsed the nominees from government and the opposition. Maggie Boyle has more.
On the Business Committee is the Prime Minister, Viranger Bainimarama. He is accompanied by the Attorney General, Ayaz Sayed Qayyum, Minister for Infrastructure and Leader of Parliament, Pio Tikonduondoa, as well as the Government Whip, Semi Korola Vesau. They are joined by Opposition Leader Rotemu Mukepa, Professor Biman Prasad, and Opposition Whip Ratueso Tikoda, and Opposition Member Roko Tupo Dronindalo. The Business Committee determines the order of business of the House, such as the time to be spent on any particular item of business and the speaking time of individual members on an item of business, to name two. The Standing Orders Committee includes the Minister and Leader of Parliament Pio Tikonduondoa, Government Whip Semi Korola Vesau, Opposition Whip Ratueso Tikoda, and Opposition Member Prem Singh. The Standing Orders Committee is responsible for deciding what bills are put before the House for debate. Also finalised is the Public Accounts Committee, which will hold its first sitting next week to review 6 years of Auditor General's reports for the years 2007 to 2013. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
The Reserve Bank of Fiji's latest economic review says key sectors of the economy continue to perform positively. As of October 20th, cane production increased by 15.9% and sugar production increased by 28%. Cumulative to September, wood chip and electricity production rose by an annual 49.2% and 0.2% respectively. Tourism demand continued to strengthen as visitor arrivals rose by 4.2% in the first 9 months of the year. The construction sector also recorded an increase by 24.4% in the first 6 months of this year. The buoyant economic conditions are positive for the Fijian labour market. Fiji's job advertisement survey shows the number of jobs advertised increased by 17.7%. And meanwhile, the Reserve Bank of Fiji issued a new $2 coin today to replace the existing $2 coin. The change is in response to earlier public calls regarding the difficulty in distinguishing between the current $1 and $2 coins. The new $2 coin is slightly larger and thicker than the existing ones. The designs on both sides remain unchanged but have been raised slightly so that these can be easily felt. The new $2 coin will have an inside cut which will assist the visually impaired. The public is encouraged to start returning the old $2 coins to a bank in return for the new issue. The old $2 coin will be in circulation up till the 31st of December. Well, after the break, exporters discuss duty suspension scheme with a view to broadening exports.
Gold FM, only the classic hits. Beautiful song from the group Firehouse and When I Look Into Your Eyes. Before that, you heard from Smokey Robinson with One Heartbeat. We'll take a short break and join us in the next hour for more music from Seal. Bulabalaga. I'm DJ Tora. Join me every weekdays, 7 until midnight on the Premium Classics. Right here on Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Welcome back to FBC News. 3 tertiary students are in police custody for allegedly stabbing a taxi driver in Suva early yesterday morning. It is alleged one of the students in the taxi picked up 2 other of his colleagues at Grantham Road and asked the driver to take them to Suva Point. However, they allegedly assaulted the driver at Beach Road in Suva Point. The driver managed to drive to a security booth at the USB lower campus where he was helped by the security officer. The driver is admitted at the CWM hospital. The real estate sector in Fiji is going through one of its biggest growths in history, but the boom is also making it difficult for locals to afford homes. Local real estate brokers say prices skyrocketed when international real estate agents began operating in the country. Ritika Pratap reports.
Appearing on FBC TV's For the Record program last night, long-term realtor Reginald Jokan said houses in prime locations some 12 years back were affordable. Jokan argues that when only local agents were operating in Fiji, properties rarely crossed the $350,000 mark.
If you go back and look at the record, you'll clearly see, you look at the sales data that the Lands Department provides. You can't see any sales at that time when we were into operation, any properties hitting over 300,000, and our children could afford it at that time.
One of the reasons why the demand is high, because a lot of people now can afford to purchase property. 10 years back, people were not able to get a loan for 100,000, like vast majority of people. But now, like vast majority of people can get the loan up to 250,000. But still, the property prices are high.
So is the industry booming, or is there a bubble? The 2 industry stakeholders also spoke on how the increase in the sale of properties is impacting the Fijian economy.
If you look at sales, who are the people that are selling? These are the people that are migrating. How does the country benefit from the stamp duties? Or these people selling their properties and leaving the country and going? Where is the money going? It's not staying back in Fiji. So how would Fiji benefit apart from the duties, apart from the legal fees, and apart from the agents that sell and pay the taxes?
Basically, we cannot regulate the open market of real estate industry. However, we can regulate the scams which deemed to be happen because of the boom in real estate industry. What we are really concerned, like the valuation practice that's been going on, and the prices, like the valuation of the prices. and then other scams which we happening, like middlemen making money, and which deprive the consumers.
The Real Estate Licensing Board is warning the consumers not to make a rash decision while purchasing a property. The advice is to do proper consultation and get factual valuation price of properties before entering into any agreement. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
Fiji Export Council members have been discussing a review of the duty suspension scheme. The scheme allows goods into the Fijian customs territory free from payment of import duties and taxes on the condition that the imported goods are intended for manufacturing for exports. Alan Stoltz reports.
An important part of economic development is trade policy.
Consultant Douglas Cruikshank is conducting the review, and he says so far consultations have been successful.
They've asked us to find a way to expand the scheme, to draw in smaller businesses so that we can grow our exports here in Fiji. And with that in mind, we've done consultations with business people that are using the scheme or may use the scheme in Nadi, Lautoka. Today we're here in Suva, and next week in the North Island as well.
The review is supported by the Market Development Facility, or MDF, which is the Australian government's private sector development program in Fiji. Cruikshank says the review will provide recommendations to improve the current DSS arrangement.
So the scheme will, based on the consultations, the input we get with business, we'll review the scheme, we'll devise a broader scheme that is in compliance with the principles and agreements of the World Trade Organization. Of course, Fiji is a member of the WTO, so this is an important aspect.
He also commended the work of the various stakeholders who have been involved in the process so far.
Well, I think the enthusiasm and the knowledge of the business community is quite impressive. The modernization that has already been done by the Customs Administration, the Fiji Revenue and Customs Authority, is also equally impressive. And I think that we just need to find a way to simplify the scheme and to broaden its application so that more exporters can take advantage of the incentive program, and that those who don't use it yet can take advantage of it and grow their export business.
Consultations will also be held in Savu-Savu and Lambasa, and a position paper of the review will be submitted to the government by the end of the month. Ellen Stalls, FBC News.
As the horses and punters are gearing up for the Melbourne Cup tomorrow, fashion enthusiasts here are also putting the final touches to their outfits for that one day they dress to impress. Chanel Sivan went along to find out what the excitement is all about.
Yeah, that's nice on you.
Lovely, yeah.
Yes. Is it comfortable?
Trying out the latest new piece today was Louisa Bryson at the Grand Pacific Hotel in Suva. Bryson has been participating in the Melbourne Cup Fascinators competition for several years.
Just lately I've been getting familiar with the horses and learning how to bet. And then I'm starting to make little wins, have little wins, a couple of hundred. So it makes me more anxious every year to go out and dress up and get familiar with the horses. I follow it from the small races right up to the one prior to the Melbourne Cup. So I'm getting to familiarize myself with the winners, and hopefully this year I will win a bit more money than I did last year.
Melbourne Cup is not just about the horses, it's also about fashion and glamour. Gwen Fong makes hats for the Melbourne Cup. She came to display her pieces for tomorrow at the GPH.
When it's Melbourne Cup, the hats are associated with it, and it's something that's been going on for years. And we ladies just get dressed up, and you match your hat or your fascinator with what you're wearing. And every year they have ladies are judged as well on best hat, best fascinator at the different places where they have these Melbourne Cup gatherings.
Tomorrow, Fijian ladies will stop to watch the race in their hats and fascinators, just as they do in Melbourne.
The hat just complements the dress. You pick a hat that matches your dress and go with the shoes and the handbag, and voila, there you go.
A fascinator costs somewhere between $25 to $50.
Women get very excited for these Melbourne Cup events, and it is something that we definitely pen down in our calendar. And this year, I think Melbourne Cup is having it's held at different places. And this year we're pushing on the GPH one, which is organized by Rotary and Fiji Fashion Week combined. And then there's other ones which they have at Suva Yacht Club and Fiji Club and just at the various clubs.
Bold colors, prints and headpieces are all the rage this Melbourne Cup. Chanel Shivan, FBC News.
And on that note, here's Jamie with sports and a bit more on the Melbourne Cup.
Thanks, Amrita. That's right. Coming up in sports, we take a look at what to expect in tomorrow's Melbourne Cup. And Viliame Vekoso joins Flying Fijians in Europe. This and more after the break.
FM number 2 na sir na honan din remanda kay Central Rental Support ka na rusun ko ito minichi me ba na koloko ni sapola
oya wa ti soni dalai
go nga mo sidon
na ma ki raw bena tolu kene bitu ena via kati mo ni kene ba rombuka
gori na lali ne kabi Bula FM number 2 na sir
Welcome back. The Vodafone Flying Fijians have been boosted by the inclusion of hooker Viliame Vekoso for the test matches against France, Wales and the USA. Vekoso had visa issues and could not join the team earlier, but left the country this morning with Lok Tevita Davumbati and Fiji Rugby Union Chief Executive Randrondro Tambolevu. Meanwhile, reps who played for their respective clubs over the weekend in France and England will rejoin the team tonight. Fiji takes on France on Sunday at 5:45 a.m. Veteran Fiji Sevens rep Setefano Dakau says he's trying to build a big player base to help in the development of future national reps. Dakau's club Tambadamu featured in the final of the Grade 8 Sevens tournament on Saturday and are now preparing for the Bailey's Coral Coast Sevens next week. Dakau says tournaments such as the Coral Coast Sevens help younger players to gain much needed tournament exposure.
Yeah, like all top teams play in this tournament, and it's like they played real well, and a lot of young players, a lot of good skills. I know it will help a lot in the future plan of Fiji Rugby.
The 2014 Melbourne Cup runs tomorrow, and experts say picking out this year's winner is proving to be very difficult. Japanese horse Admire Rakti may be the top bet, but will face tough competition. Rohit Deo with the details.
The Lexus, look, she's currently...
Only 4 horses are placed under double-digit figures on the betting list for this year's race. Pundits of the horse racing world believe anyone out of the 24 can win tomorrow's race.
I think these horses, they're the best horses in the world. There's only 2 Australian horses in it. All the other horses are imported, and they come from all over the world. They're trainers and jockeys all over the world. It's become a really international event. So I suggest you just pick your horses, and they are quite long prices, and there's a chance to win quite a lot of money.
Here in Fiji, betting shops will be crowded before the race, as people don't want to miss their chance to make some easy money. This is a trend noticed each year, and nothing much is expected to change in 2014.
People looking forward for the big race. It's called the race that stops a nation. Australia stands still for that race when it's running. And there's a lot of people, they follow the Melbourne Cup here. They want to know about the horses. They are coming to our betting shops. They're inquiring about it. So basically, yes, there's a lot of interest in the Melbourne Cup here.
The Melbourne Cup race will be run at 5 p.m. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
And you can watch the Melbourne Cup live on FBC TV tomorrow afternoon with coverage starting from 1:30. 17-year-old Haifa Vakaloroma overcame all odds to claim the Miss Fiji bodybuilding title over the weekend. It was a remarkable feat given that she had recovered from a long bout of sickness to flex her way to victory. Tsale Ndadakadaka has more.
Only 3 competitors registered for the Miss Fiji title.
Among them was first-time winner Haifa Wakaloloma, who had to overcome sickness to claim the title.
I was one step to getting pneumonia, and so I just said yes. Even though I'm sick, I don't care if I faint on stage. I will go up there and flex these muscles of mine, because this is what I love doing.
The win has boosted her confidence and now aims to take a shot at qualifying for the 2015 Pacific Games.
Yes, one of the main reasons I really want to make it, really want to go to the SPG Games. It's like my dream, but that's not really my dream. But I want to go further. And yeah, but I'm aiming for the South Pacific Games. I want to get there.
Chief Guest and Assistant Minister for Youth and Sports, Ilya Sandelana, commended the bodybuilders for their dedication to training.
Being an ardent sportsman myself, I know of the sacrifice some of you have had to go through, and I take my hat off to you for the spirit of commandership with which you as a sporting organization have had to endure.
Having overcome major odds to win the title, Wakaloloma says she wants to achieve a whole lot more on the bodybuilding stage. Talento Dakadak, FBC Sports.
Manchester City won a chaotic derby as Sergio Aguero's second-half strike gave the English Premier League football champions a 1-0 victory over Manchester United. Here's the goal.
Touré, Clichy, this time! Him again! Kun Aguero!
The win sees City remain in third place on the points table, while United is now in 10th place. That's it from Sports Tonight. It's back to Amrita with business.
Fijian Holdings Limited is evaluating the divesting of shares in Fiji Television subsidiary company Media New Guinea based in Papua New Guinea. CEO Nozab Farid says they will sell if offered 50 million kina, which is about 46 million Fijian dollars for the communications company operating as EMTV. Maggie Boyle has more.
With its 1,300 shareholders, Fijian Holdings Limited is touted as the flagship company of Itoke's success. And that success is looking beyond Fiji's borders to PNG, where FHL is considering the sale of MTV.
Went to the market, we talked to people, we found out. So one of the government entity, which is Telecom PNG, has shown interest in acquiring that company. So we have signed a memorandum of understanding with Telecom PNG, which gives time till November 30th for them to do a due diligence and come back to us and say, okay, this is much we are willing to pay.
And following through on the lucrative sale is just a matter of time.
Basically, that company easily make a profit of at least more than 4 million kina. It can make a profit of 4 million kina. And so it depends on, it's a willing buyer and a willing seller. So at this stage, I won't be able to give exactly, okay, definitely, no, it won't be 20 million kina, it will be much more than, it should be more than that. It won't be 20 million kina.
So more than 25?
Yeah, it can be, but we don't know. Maybe it can be more than that. So we'll wait and see. That company got a lot of potential. Yes, definitely less than 50, more than 20. That's what I can say that.
Farid adding that given the diverse mix of their portfolios, FHL is expected to buy or sell one or two companies over the next 12 months. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Today, most parts of the country experience cloudy conditions and showers. This weather is the result of a trough of low pressure lying slow moving just north of Fiji. It brought cloudy skies with occasional showers to Suva, Savusavu and Lambasa. The rest of the major centres such as Nandi, Lautoka and Ba all had fine weather in the morning with scattered showers in the afternoon. Temperatures for Suva and Savusavu were on 28, Nandi 30, whereas Lautoka and Lambasa hit 31 and Ba with the highest of 32. Well, tomorrow's forecast expects similar conditions like today's, with Suva, Savusavu and Lambasa having cloudy skies with a chance of occasional showers all day. The rest of the major centres should have fine weather and cloudy afternoon skies. And recapping our main stories, Fiji has accepted 98 out of 137 recommendations made by states at the Universal Periodic Review at the UN Human Rights Council. The Parliamentary Public Accounts Committee has postponed its sitting to mid-next week, and a van driver is in police custody in Lautoka after he allegedly struck a 44-year-old taxi driver with a cane knife. On to our poll segment. And we have results from last week's poll question: should there be a ban on fireworks? 68% said yes. And this week's poll question: should Fijian rugby players put club before country? Visit our FBC website to take part. Or you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj, or if you're on Facebook, follow us on FBC News, and if you're on Twitter, you can tweet us your news tips at FBC News or #FBC News. That's all from us tonight. Join me again tomorrow. Until then, good night.